Each week this month, we have had one or two or sometimes multiple little people last week share reflections on their time at UUSF and what they love. And today, it's David Jones.
I first walked into this place in 1975. I had just come from Brigham Young University at Provo, Utah. Needless to say, it was quite a shock. But I found out quickly I could be myself here. I kept coming. In '77, I joined the choir, and Alex Post was director as well as organist. It was a wonderful experience, and it was meeting almost all of my needs, my musical needs. Later on, I helped start the bell choir, and I have been playing with it off and on for about 20 years. So going back a little more to 1978, I met the love of my life, Donald Williams. We started dating. I brought him here first for a service in 1980. And he was hooked. I mean, it was wonderful experience. And then we kept coming week after week. They were printing the sermons at that time, so we made sure that we got copies of the sermons and we could read them during the week. So in 1981, we both joined. We decided to become members of this church. And as Don used to say, it's payback time. It's we're taking in all of this wonderful stuff here, but we're not giving back. And he thought that was important. He got involved in the board. We were here a few years, and then suddenly we moved away for 12 years. We needed to buy property, and we couldn't afford it here, so we moved to Petaluma and commuted for 12 years, every morning, 5 times a week, to work here. That was that was tiring enough. We moved back in 1997. I got involved on the board. I was on the board from 2000 to 2006. I believe I'm the only member of this church to have married the same man 3 times. Unless I want to give you a chance to raise your hand if you have any. Okay. The first time was in 2000. We wanted a church wedding. We invited people from the Santa Rosa Fellowship, where we were members when we lived up there, to come down here for the service. And I think there are about 400 people total who came to the wedding in 2000. The Reverend Margot Campbell Gross, our minister emerita, married us, and what many of you may not know is she, as an act of social justice, would not sign the marriage certificate. I thought that was really commendable of her, and I've never forgotten that. I just think it's really wonderful to make that kind of a stand. So that we had never thought about doing another wedding, and then 2004 came and Gavin Newsom opened up the wedding doors, and we said, oh yes, we've got to do this. So it was like a Wednesday, we made the decision, and then we went down to City Hall on a Thursday and just did it. And that was a lot of fun, but it turned out to be not so happy in the long run, because we ended up in a privileged class of people who were allowed to stay married when they closed the doors on everyone else. So that was not very happy, but then, you know, the act of the Supreme Court in 2008 came along, and we got married a third time in City Hall with the Reverend Greg Stewart performing the ceremony. So those are the three times. Wouldn't really change anything at all. I think one of the areas of support that I want to acknowledge now is during the time when Don's body was sort of failing, giving out, and I was caregiver for him. Starting in 2016, I said, I can do this by myself. And eventually it got to be too much. And so we sold the condo and I moved into assisted living, and I got him connected with hospice, which turned out to be a lifesaver for me, as well as an easier passing for him. What I want to bring out here is that what I didn't expect to happen was getting all the love and support from this congregation during that period and afterwards. It was really overwhelming. I can't stress to you. I hope many of you get to experience something like that. And I think in a funny way, maybe it's karma or what, I think getting involved in this church enables a lot of payback to happen in the way of emotional support and making friends. I wouldn't trade any of that for the whole world. Thank you.
I also don't know if you and Don started the Easter bonnets, or you just, yes. So in a few weeks, when Easter comes and we lay out a table of bonnets, and you're welcome to bring your own, that is something that Don and David started, that it carries on the joy, the frivolity of our Easter bonnet tradition, among other things. Let's take a moment to greet one another.